The Galactic Council chamber had witnessed the fall of civilizations, the birth of empires, and the extinction of species, whose names were no longer spoken. Yet never before had it felt such confident amusement. Holographic banners floated above the circular hull, displaying the insignia of the Zorvath Dominion, the oldest and most powerful military force the galaxy had ever known. Their admirals stood tall, armored in crystalline alloy, eyes glowing with the certainty that comes from 10,000 years of uninterrupted conquest. At the center of the chamber hovered a single blue hologram, a small spiral arm marked with an insignificant yellow dot. Earth, a backwater world, barely capable of faster-than-light travel, according to every intelligence report the Dominion possessed. Supreme Admiral Kethrax extended a clawed hand and silenced the murmurs. "Let the record show," he declared, his voice amplified across 1,000 translator fields, "that the Zorvath Dominion hereby claims Sol System 7 and all planetary bodies therein." Laughter rippled through the chamber. This was not a declaration of war, it was an eviction notice. No one expected resistance, no one even expected a response. Humanity, after all, was young, fractured by internal politics, and still arguing over trade routes and resource rights, while greater species mapped entire galaxies. Their ships were crude, their weapons inefficient, their understanding of galactic warfare laughably incomplete. At least, that was the assumption. 3 standard cycles later, a signal arrived. Not a surrender, not a plea, not even an attempt at negotiation. It was a single transmission, broadcast on every known frequency, unencrypted, and unmistakably human. The face that appeared was not a politician or diplomat. It was an old man in a worn military uniform, his posture relaxed, his eyes sharp with something the Dominion translators struggled to classify. The classification eventually settled on predatory calm. "Congratulations," the man said, voice steady. "You just declared war on the most lethal species alive." The chamber erupted into laughter once more. Some species slapped their tails against the floor in mockery. Others flashed threat colors in exaggerated parody. Kithrax himself smiled, a gesture that had preceded the annihilation of entire star systems. "You mistake your position, human," Kithrax replied. "This is not war. This is acquisition." The old man nodded slowly, as if acknowledging a child's misunderstanding. "Funny thing," he said, "every species that ever tried to acquire us said the same thing." The transmission ended. No threats, no bravado, just silence. The council dismissed the exchange as posturing. Orders were issued, fleets were mobilized, and the Zorvath War Armada began its advance toward Sol. What none of them noticed was the sudden spike in encrypted traffic across human space, or the fact that dozens of decommissioned shipyards quietly came back online, or that ancient defense platforms, long believed abandoned, began drawing power for the first time in centuries. Humanity did not panic. They prepared. On Mars, generals who had not worn uniforms in decades were recalled from retirement. On Luna, industrial forges shifted from civilian production to wartime output within hours. On Earth, old vaults were opened, containing weapons humanity had sworn never to use again. These were not weapons designed to conquer. They were weapons designed to survive extinction. Because humans remembered something the galaxy had forgotten. They remembered what it meant to be hunted, long before humanity reached the stars. They had fought predators stronger than themselves, faster than themselves, deadlier than themselves. They survived not by dominance, but by adaptation, by turning fear into focus, pain into progress, and desperation into innovation. Armada emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol System in flawless formation. 10,000 warships, each capable of glassing a planet, weapons charged, shields layered like impenetrable walls. They expected chaos. They expected disorganized resistance. They expected surrender. Instead, they found silence. No defensive fleets. No panicked broadcasts. No planetary shields raised in desperation. Kith narrowed his eyes, scanned the system. He ordered. The results were confusing. Earth showed minimal orbital defenses. Mars registered industrial activity but no fleet presence. The outer planets were quiet. It was as if humanity had done nothing at all. Then the first Zorvath ship vanished. No explosion, no energy surge, just gone. Sensors struggled to explain it. Moments later, another ship disappeared. Then another, each removal, precise, silent, and terrifyingly efficient. "Report!" Kithrax roared. A technician's voice trembled. "They are not attacking us directly, Admiral. They are attacking space-time around our vessels." Confusion turned to unease, then to fear. from the darkness. Beyond Pluto, something moved. Not ships, not fleets, but structures. Ancient human weapons platforms unfolded like mechanical nightmares. Their designs brutal, inelegant, and horrifyingly purposeful. They did not fire beams or plasma. They bent physics. Zorvath ships began colliding with nothing, crushed by invisible forces, torn apart by localized gravity wells that turned armor into paper. Shields meant to withstand supernovas collapsed against weapons that did not care about energy output. Kithrax realized too late that humanity had never intended to meet them in open battle. Humans had turned their own system into a trap, and this was only the beginning. Far from Sol, in systems across human space, similar awakenings occurred. Humanity was not mobilizing for conquest. They were activating contingencies. Plans written with the assumption that one day, someone would come to erase them. As the first third of the Zorvath armada ceased to exist, the old man's words echoed through Kethrax's mind. Congratulations. For the first time in his long, victorious life, the Supreme Admiral of the Zorvath Dominion understood the truth. They had not discovered a weak species. They had awakened a survivor, and the galaxy was about to learn why humanity had never gone extinct. Asterisk's news of the Sol engagement spread faster than any ship could travel. Carried by panicked distress bursts and fragmented sensor data, entire civilizations watched replays of Zorvath warships vanishing without explosions, erased as if reality itself had rejected them. The Galactic Council reconvened in emergency session. Laughter replaced by stunned silence. Analysts spoke in trembling voices about impossible physics, about weapons that did not target ships but the space they occupied. Ancient races, those who would survive multiple galactic ages, felt something unfamiliar tightening in their cores. Fear, for the first time. The Zorvath Dominion issued a classified retreat protocol, something that had never been used. Humanity did not pursue. That terrified the observers even more. Instead, humans broadcast another message. Not a threat, not a demand, just a warning. We don't expand unless pushed, the same old man said calmly. And you pushed. Across human worlds, civilians continued their daily lives with unsettling normalcy. Children went to school while orbital factories produced weapons designed to end wars before they began. Historians were consulted alongside generals, because human warfare was built on memory, not arrogance. Other species finally understood the mistake. Humanity was not the most lethal species because of its weapons. It was lethal because it learned, adapted, and survived everything meant to destroy it. And now, the galaxy was on that list. The Zorvath Dominion tried to adjust, shifting shields, altering formations, rewriting doctrines that had ruled space for millennia. It made no difference. Human attacks evolved with terrifying speed. What worked once never worked again. Every encounter revealed new tactics, new traps, new weapons born from captured data and battlefield observation. Alien commanders realized the truth too late. They were fighting an enemy that treated every battle as a lesson, every loss as information. Humanity did not seek victory through overwhelming force. They sought inevitability, and against inevitability, even empires collapse. Entire Zorvath sectors went dark. Not conquered, not occupied, simply rendered unusable. Supply lines failed as stars were locked behind gravitational snares. Humans activated and abandoned without ceremony. Zorvath citizens, once taught their empire was eternal, began to question. Rebellions ignited as fear spread faster than propaganda could suppress it. Humanity still did not advance. They waited. They always waited. That patience broke the Dominion more effectively than any weapon, because every hour of silence carried the same message. This ends when you stop. The Zorvath's Dominion surrendered without a final battle. Its fleets recalled, its borders sealed by its own decree. No treaty demanded tribute, no worlds were claimed. Humanity sent one last transmission. We warned you, the old man said, not unkindly. The galaxy listened this time. From that day forward, humanity was reclassified. Not as conquerors, not as tyrants, but as a species of last resort, the ones you never provoked. Because they do not fight for glory, they fight to survive.